there, I'm Teresa LaBarbera, and welcome to Connecticut Style. We've got a really fun show lined up for you today. First, 1,000 places to see before you die. The second edition, author Patricia Schultz will take us around the world. Plus, the passionate vocals of singer Nathan Pacheco. He's on Stage 8 with a preview of his PBS special and up-and-coming album. And I'm here in the kitchen with Beth Hilson, the author of a new cookbook called Gluten-Free Makeovers. Hello, Beth.
Hello, Teresa.
Tell me, we hear a lot about gluten-free. Maybe break it down for our viewers. What exactly does it mean?
Well, gluten is a protein in wheat, rye, and barley. And if you have gluten intolerance or celiac disease, as I do, then you can't have any of it in your diet. So, of course, we want everything everybody else has.
Got it.
And I've spent my life trying to recreate that and doing what I think is a great job. And, of course, you know, I'm the first one in line to sample everything.
I bet.
And today we're both going to sample some crepes.
These look beautiful. We're making peach crepes?
We're making peach Melba crepes.
Oh, I love that.
It's very easy. This is one of the first recipes that I ever made over from culinary school.
Oh, fun.
And it worked so well, it really inspired me. And it's an easy way to explain how we convert something that's gluten-filled to gluten-free.
Very good. All right, Beth, let's get the show on the road.
Great.
Look right into camera 2. Tell everyone what they need to do.
Sit back and relax. You are having lunch with style.
Town Fair Tire and News 8 encourage you not to text while driving. Pass along the message by telling 8 of your friends to wait to text. Wait to Text is sponsored by Town Fair Tire. Nobody does it like Town Fair Tire, nobody. And these supporting sponsors.
I'm Dan Roberti, and you've probably seen Elizabeth Estes' ad calling me a lobbyist. Well, I've never been a lobbyist, and Elizabeth knows it. I've spent my life running a homeless shelter, organizing disaster relief, and fighting poverty with Martin Luther King III. The lobbyist she's talking about is my father, not me. Elizabeth Estes' attack ad and her collecting money from polluters her husband regulates is everything that's wrong with politics. I approve this message because you deserve better.
Tonight, it's Wipeout Summer Games, and ABC has the events with the real agony of defeat. Summer Wipeout, tonight at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Don't miss On the Green with Gil, Thursday mornings from 5 to 7 a.m. on Good Morning Connecticut. Go to WTNH.com for a list of towns Gil will be visiting. Sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Hey, Connecticut, what are you drinking?
We're drinking Dunkin'.
Medium iced hazelnut.
I run on Dunkin' Ice.
Medium French vanilla.
Ice caramel. Mocha for me.
Connecticut runs on Dunkin'.
Patricia Schultz has a dream job, traveling the globe and writing about it. She's the author of 1,000 Places to See Before You Die, the second edition. The #1 New York Times bestseller contains 200 new entries, more than 24 new countries, and more than 600 full-color photographs. Sounds like quite a book. Patricia Schultz joins us now. She's here to talk to us and tell us her top 5 picks.
Yes.
How exciting. I love this topic.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the book first of all. This is a new write-up. You did this completely over.
It's really, I think, an entirely new book. The first book came out in 2003, and really no sooner was the ink dry than I was already thinking about the places that I hadn't included that I've discovered since then. So 28 new countries, hundreds of new places, and even the old places that are included in the revision got rewritten with new information, new hotel choices, new festivals, all kinds of new information. So really it's an entirely new book, I think.
So I'm assuming you must do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
You've been to more than about 90% of these places?
It feels, yeah, I haven't yet kind of checked them off, but it feels that way. But I just, came back last week. I'm always on the plane.
Oh, that's great. And we have to mention there's an app
yes,
that people can check out?
Beautiful app, yes. And you can get it through iTunes. It just came out a few months ago, and we're really proud of it because it really brings alive. There's a community of people who are posting their most recent trips, their bucket list, where they've just been, where they want to go, and sharing it with a kind of, travel community that's huge in number. It's been very, very successful.
Great. Well, let's get to it. I'm interested to hear the top 5. We have some pictures that we're going to put up on the screen. The first one is from Kyoto,
Yes.
Japan, and you said you were just there.
Yeah, and I think your most recent trip is always your most favorite because it's still very vibrant in your memory. And Tokyo is remarkable. Japan to me was just a revelation. Not my first trip, but my most recent. As you mentioned, I just got home. Kyoto is the ancient capital. 2,000 shrines, Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples, really magnificent, centuries-old heritage of crafts. The people all throughout Japan I just found remarkable, gracious, lovely, never a language problem, very clean, organized,
Really?
great place to visit. Great place to visit. I'm in love with Japan.
Really? Oh, wow. I'll have to check it out. Next on the list, you have Tuscany, Italy.
Yes, because who doesn't love Italy?
Isn't that true?
I think it's the most revisited. It's one of the most visited countries anywhere in the world, but in Europe it's the most revisited because once you go once, you realize there's a phenomenal amount to see. I used to live in Florence, which is the capital of the region of Tuscany. And if you've seen those movies with the hill towns and the
It's very
art,
so romantic, isn't it?
It is. It's very, and the food and the people and the music and the museums are just brimming with Renaissance and even back, you know, to the Byzantine and the medieval. It's just magnificent.
What are we looking at here?
This is Siena. It's the Campo, the main square. It's one of the hill towns, one of the countless hill towns throughout Tuscany. There seems to be a concentration of hill towns and also a coastline. Not many people know that Tuscany has a coastline. Another quintessentially beautiful vignette. I think sometimes it's just like driving through a postcard.
It is just stunning.
Toscana. These are the various bridges over the Arno River in Florence. Florence for me was home for 5 years, so I came to know it really, really well.
Are you fluent in Italian?
Sì, certo. Va bene.
Very good. All right.
Mangia.
Mangia. I know that one. Next on the list is the Big Apple, New York City.
Yes, my hometown. And as much as I travel, I'm always excited to go home because I get to go home to New York City. And we're only half kidding when we say that it's the center of the universe. 24/7, always something going on, ever-changing, always remarkable. People from all over the world come to see what I wake up to every morning. Every season has something new. You know, there's the cultural scene, there's the eating scene. I think that it's unlike any other, yeah, and really unlike any other city that I've seen anywhere in the world.
All right, we're going to go for a little ride next to Botswana.
Botswana, quite a ride.
Look at that.
Because it takes a day just to get there.
Is that right?
Yeah, and Botswana is the Okavango Delta, which is what you see here. I think it's one of the very few places, if you're doing the African safari, and you must in life, where you can go by canoe because it's a wetland, and during the rainy season much of it floods and it becomes this incredible oasis for wildlife viewing. So it's unmatched in that sense. You can go by canoe, you can go by foot. Not many reserves in Africa you can actually go by foot, by jeep of course, and by elephant back. So how cool is that?
That's fantastic. And we're looking at some wildlife here.
Yeah, these are some wildlife. It's part of the gazelle family. I think they might be gazelles.
Sure, okay. Very nice. And then last on the list, you have Rio de Janeiro.
Yes, because as the London Olympics are soon to come to a close, I think the spotlight shifts to Rio. In 2016 is going to be home to the Summer Olympics. And in 2014, the World Soccer Championship. And it's an incredible city with 45 miles of beaches, a real beach culture.
It's a big party town, right?
It is. Rio, New Year's Eve, every day, in fact, is party time in Rio. So there's wonderful music. It's a lovely place. It's a massive country, so you can jump on a plane and see the rest of the country as well. Right. Wonderful people.
Well, such good ideas.
Yeah, and 995 other possibilities.
I love that. And where can we find your book, Patricia?
Pretty much just about anywhere, in all the independent bookstores and, of course, online as well.
All right, and you have a busy day ahead of you today?
Yes, at 1:30 I'm in the Gear Village in Canaan in the Litchfield area, and then at the Hartford Library tonight.
Very nice.
And on Friday, the Norwich Library in R.J. Julia in Madison.
Very good. All right, and we'll have more information on WTNH.com. Just click on Style. 1,000 Places to See Before You Die, the second edition. That was fun. Thanks for the ideas.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
All right.
I'd never know if I go on too long.
No, you were fantastic.
So good.
All right. Up next, we'll meet vocalist Nathan Pacheco ahead of his first PBS special. That's when Connecticut Style returns. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Dave Director, owner of Connecticut Lighting Centers. We're celebrating 40 years of honesty, integrity, and a focused drive to satisfy every customer's need. Why settle for a few ceiling fans from a small fan department? Talk to our experts and shop over 125 models on display in our new ceiling fan showroom. Go to ctlighting.com to get your ceiling fan brochure.
At Connecticut Lighting Centers, we put the accent on your home.
Lisa Wilson Foley. I realized Washington was just growing by leaps and bounds, over-regulating, overtaxing, overspending, and they were creating a poor environment. I do know about creating jobs, overcoming all of the onerous regulations that our government has put on top of small businesses. I do know how to make a payroll, how to pay down my debt. That kind of attitude is what makes our country so great, and that's something that I want to take to Washington. I'm Lisa Wilson Foley, and I approve this message.
Car wreck? Don't trust the insurance company with your medical care. Imagine a law firm that puts medical experts on your side.
I'm Carter Mario. We're the only law firm in Connecticut with a doctor and nurse on staff who are also lawyers. We fight for the medical care you need and protect you from the bills you don't. Imagine that.
Get Carter. 1-800-900-6700.
Pop classical crossover singer Nathan Pacheco is hitting the road ahead of his first PBS special this Saturday, August 11th, and in advance of his debut album. If you don't know who he is now, you certainly will. Nathan Pacheco joins us now on Stage 8 to talk about his upcoming concert, his album, and you're going to sing for us.
I am. I'll do my best.
We are so excited. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about your music.
Absolutely. It's kind of a crossover style. There are elements of classical and pop and even folk in there. I've been influenced by the Three Tenors, Andrea Bocelli, Josh Groban, and this song that I'll sing today, it's one of the well-known songs in all of opera. It's Nessun Dorma.
Okay, and about 6-7 years ago you toured with Yanni, is that correct? Is that when this all got started?
Yeah, I kind of had my first break with Yanni, and then I went on the road with them, and that kind of led me to working on my solo album and going out on the road myself. So it's been quite the adventure, but we're getting there.
A lot of fun along the way, I'm assuming?
Absolutely.
Nathan, you've been singing your whole life. Is this something you discovered at a young age?
Pretty much. I didn't always know that I wanted to do this, but I was always involved with music in one way or another. My mom taught piano out of the home, so I studied piano, violin, and then I kind of just discovered singing and found out that it was my passion, and so I've run with it ever since.
And the first album is coming out a little later this month? Next month?
Yes, in September. I believe the exact date is September 18th.
Oh, we'll look for it then. That's
That.
fabulous. Ooh, look at that picture right on the cover. Very nice. What's in store for listeners?
Well, this song, Nessun Dorma, will be on it, and a lot of original songs. I love to write, I love to compose, and so there'll be songs that kind of have elements of classical, elements of pop, and so if people want to kind of hear a preview, you can go to nathanpacheco.com, and we got songs up there that they can stream and videos and everything, and that can kind of give them an idea of whether or not they like it.
All right, and the song today is a classical one.
Yes,
right?
This is from one of Puccini's operas, and this is Nessun Dorma.
All right, take it away.
Okay, thanks. Nessun dorma, nessun dorma. Tu pure, principessa, nella tua fredda stanza, guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore e di speranza. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me, il nome mio nessun saprà, no, no, sulla tua bocca lo dirò quando la luce splenderà. Ed il mio bacio scioglierò il silenzio che ti fa mia.
We deal with a wide range of calls, from people who are delivering babies, having difficulty breathing, having heart attacks.
I've been on numerous cases where you just see relief in patients' faces the moment you walk in.
The ability to save somebody's life is an absolutely thrilling opportunity.
As an EMT, you see how precious life is.
One of the most important things I've learned from this job over all the years is to not take anything for granted.
I'm Susan Weisswitz, and I approve this message.
Things still aren't perfect in the state capitol.
There's too much special interest money.
Too much corruption. A couple things are different, though.
Because of Susan Weisswitz.
It was Susan's law that banned gifts from lobbyists.
And Susan really put it on the line to revoke the pensions of corrupt public officials.
Her and Dick Blumenthal.
It's the right thing to do. She'll get it done.
Nothing stands in her way. She'll just do it.
Susan's like a pit bull.
Susan Weisswitz will make a great United States Senator.
Embarrassment, odor, and living with bacterial vaginosis, also called BV, can make life miserable. If left untreated, BV can also be potentially serious. This study is evaluating the safety and effectiveness of an investigational medication for BV. You must be 18 or older. All study-related care and study medications are provided at no cost. For more information or to see if you qualify, call 888-817-0212 or visit balanceclinicaltrial.com.
Well, gluten is a problem for some people, but it doesn't have to be anymore thanks to a new cookbook by Beth Hilson. It's called Gluten-Free Makeovers, and as Beth will tell you, it was born out of necessity. Beth Hilson is here now to tell us all about it. So gluten-free means exactly?
Well, gluten-free means that no wheat, rye, or barley.
Okay.
And it's the protein in those flours that causes the problem for people who are celiac or gluten intolerant. It can be other things if it's an allergy, but that's primarily what we're removing. And so, of course, that's the wonderful elasticity that all the dough has. So
I mean, we're talking pizza dough,
yeah,
we're talking pasta.
Right. Bread,
Breads.
sourdough bread. Oh, I would give my eye tooth for a sourdough bread that really had a crunch. So those kinds of things are what we're replicating. And I've been celiac since, well, gosh, for 36 years.
Okay.
So when I was diagnosed, my doctor just handed me a sheet and said, here, you know, just
Stay away
eliminate
from this,
gluten.
But it's hard to do. You're missing out on life almost if you can't have bread.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So I went to culinary school. And when I went to culinary school, I was really trying to learn about the foods. But what I discovered was that I held the secrets when I held those recipes. There's a recipe DNA for every recipe. And it's the ratio of fat to dry to liquids to flour. And if you maintain that ratio, you are going to have a terrific outcome no matter what you make. As long as you,
here, Beth. Okay.
Exactly. But you have to replace the gluten-filled ingredients. So I started doing that. The crepes was one of the first things I ever made, gluten-free. But in replacing the gluten, because wheat is so elastic and so complex in what it does in baking, we have to do a number of different things. We have to use blends. And so my book is full of different blends and techniques, because if you're doing a yeast bread, you want more elasticity.
Okay.
If you're doing a short cookie, a short crust of some sort, it's going to crumble, and you want it to crumble, so you don't want that elasticity. So we're kind of keeping those things in mind as we're developing the recipes.
Because typically crepes would be filled with gluten and flour, right?
And this is what I love about this recipe, because look at this. I mean, there's no gluten in here, and it's holding together.
Wow.
And that was the thing that impressed me the first time I made these.
And does it taste similar?
Oh, everybody loves it. I
Identical,
never
really?
tell people I'm making gluten-free things for them. I just serve one recipe for everybody. That's the nice thing about the cookbook, too. Any recipe in there can be served to everybody, and I don't think anybody is going to say, oh, what's different about this?
Something. Good.
Yeah, so,
all right, well, let's get going. How do we make these?
So we're starting with, I'm doing a very simple blend for this, and this is rice flour, tapioca starch, a little bit of xanthan gum, and I use xanthan gum or guar gum because that replaces some of the elasticity. So everything that we're doing is to try to get some more elasticity into our foods.
Okay.
So I'm putting those together, and this is a little bit of sugar because we're doing these as dessert crepes. If you were doing them as a lunch, a savory item, you wouldn't have to put that in. And what we're going to do is add those to the eggs, and I'm going to beat those and then add the flour to it. And this will coat the flour. So again, we're adding a protein to it if we understand a little bit about food chemistry. And we don't need to, actually. But this is really gorgeous when it comes together. You can see how beautifully that's... Whoops, sorry, I'm making a mess here.
That's okay.
But, you know, hey, yeah. So, you can have a food fight afterwards. So this is coating. We're mixing that, and then the milk, excuse me. I'm going to add a little of that, and I'm going to make it just soften it a little bit, and then we're going to add the rest of it, so that what we're going to have, and I'm not going to take a lot of time to do this right now, so I'm going to pull the Julia Childs number, and I'm going to go...
Oh, you have one done already. What do you know, Beth?
Exactly, and this has to sit overnight. So I've let this sit. It really softens the flour as well. And these are the techniques the French discovered for making crepes, and they work for gluten-free crepes as well as for gluten-filled. Okay. Now, I'm using a pan I've never used before, so I have to confess.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see. Yeah, that looks like it might be a little hot, but let's try it. And I'm going to add about 1/3 of a cup of the batter, and the trick is that you want to coat it with just a tiny thin layer of batter. And then if you have any leftover, you can just spill it right back into the bowl and then use it next time. So
this is going to be quick, I have a feeling, right?
Oh, it's very quick. It's already starting to brown around the edges. You can see that.
And did you spray the pan?
I did. I coated it with a little bit of oil. I just dipped my paper towel into it, just wiped it around. This is really pretty nice, actually. I think it's going to work.
Thank you, Beth.
Yes. We're winging it, but it's going to work. Okay, so now we want this to just brown on the edges. If it starts to bubble in the center before we can layer it, then we know the pan's too hot.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah, that's a really important tip that the French kind of know these things, but you know, we're learning. And so, okay, this is going to start to brown.
All right, now, we have actually about a minute left.
Oh my goodness, sorry. So we're not going to do
here.
that. Yes, we're going to not flip this one. Okay, and we have it over here.
And we are filling these with peach melba, right?
We are, and peach melba is actually raspberry, a little brandy, and some peaches.
Okay.
So we're going to just... You shouldn't have told me that we had all the time in the world here.
Well, I'm glad. We learned all about gluten-free.
We did. There we go. Okay, and then I'm putting some chopped peaches in here.
Okay.
This could not be simpler.
I feel like this is a healthy dessert, right?
It's kind of healthy, you know? It really is.
Go.
Yes, right, exactly. And I'm going to roll these up, put a little bit of powdered sugar on top.
It's beautiful.
And then I could put a dollop of whipped cream on there. I'm going to garnish it with a couple of peach slices.
It's lovely.
And there we go.
And it's gluten-free.
And it's gluten-free. And I would serve this to anybody, everybody.
Oh,
and everyone will enjoy it. Your gluten-free guest won't feel like they've been left out in any way. And why make two dishes when you can
Just make one.
Yes.
Very good. All right,
and
Beth.
you can check out more recipes of mine on glutenfreemakeovers.com.
Very good. We're going to try this in just a little bit.
Great.
Of course, we'll have the recipe on WTNH.com. Just click on Connecticut Style. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Free nationwide delivery during Connecticut Home Interior's multiple factory authorized sales event. Save up to 50% and more, plus free nationwide white glove delivery on any special order of $2,500 or more. Choose from famous brand names including Baker, Bernhardt, Henriton, and Century and have it delivered free. Or 12 months free financing on any in-stock item. It's your choice. An offer of this magnitude won't last forever. Connecticut Home Interiors, your North Carolina connection in West Hartford and Avon.
For some politicians in Hartford, spending other people's money sure comes easy. Take Andrew Rohraback. He proposed a $1 billion sales tax increase 3 times. Rohraback voted to increase the diesel fuel tax 44%. He even proposed new fees for using the internet. Higher sales taxes, higher fuel prices, fees on the internet. Andrew Rohraback is no friend of the taxpayer. Patriot Majority USA is responsible for the content of this advertising.
After your accident, the insurance company may process 35,000 other claims that same day. Not exactly the personal touch you deserve. Now imagine a law firm that puts your needs first.
I'm Carter Mario. We fight big insurance companies because we know it's not about them, it's about you. Imagine that.
Get Carter. 1-800-900-6700.
In Judge Judy's court, they're not just cases. They're topics that affect your life.
I'm here to trip you up.
The cases get you thinking.
You think this is going to be easy? This is not going to be easy.
The topics get you talking.
You better stop harassing each other. You have a child.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 4 on News 8.
All right, we're back here in the kitchen with Beth, and we have her niece Kate with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're going to enjoy some crepes, maybe make a couple more.
Yes, I know. I'm going to try to flip one right. Let's. Oh, look, that one worked. All right. Okay, and then I have to use my fingers to take it out because
we know
there's
they're clean.
no other way. That's right. And then I'm going to put a little more jam on it.
While you're making this, tell us a little bit about your cookbook.
Well, the cookbook really has about 175 to 200 recipes that are favorites of mine and favorites of other people who have asked me for recipes when they've gone gluten-free. And they're makeovers for things like pierogies and babka and yeast spreads, right? Everyday things that you might miss, lasagna, pizza, and
Right.
Wow,
Beth,
so cake.
I gotta cut you off.
Oh my gosh,
I have it on
I'm sorry.
WTNH.com.
Well, that's
We're
great.
gonna eat some crepes. We'll see you back here
Bon
tomorrow.
appetit.
Bye-bye.